Alrighty. Well, Shane Schwartz, welcome to Curveball. Okay, let me introduce this guy. You know how life loves to throw you uppercuts when you're not looking? Well, Shane, he knows that firsthand. He's a former professional boxer who once trained under the eye of his own father, broke records at 7 years old. You're such a badass. And lived and breathes the sport his whole life. Then, mid-sparring session, coaching another fighter, he noticed a lump on his neck. What followed next wasn't just a fight in the ring, it was a fight with goddamn cancer. And at that time, Shane had twin toddlers, a wife at home, and no backup plan. But he fought through it literally and emotionally. And today, he's cancer free, yes, and turning that pain into purpose. Shane now promotes boxing events where every single dollar raised goes directly to people battling cancer, not hospitals, not research funds, but the people in the thick of it. That is so cool. It's a story of resilience, family, and what happens when your definition of winning gets rewritten completely. Shane, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. So take us back to that day in the gym. How long ago was that? You were wrapping up a sparring session when you noticed something off, and then you're just like, oh, crap. Like,
So 5 years.
What? Tell me about that moment.
5 years ago, it puts me at the age of 45 at the time. And I went down there, I took my boxer down there to spar somebody else, but nobody showed up. And I'm 5'9", 190 pounds. He's 6'5", 250 pounds. Went down there, he didn't have, so of course, like a true boxer, I stepped in the ring with him and competed against him and gave him some rounds.
How did that go?
Well, I had more skill than him, so it went fine.
Okay.
But
I love that.
We sparred and I went home and I just had a lump on my throat. And I didn't know what it was, so I put ice on it that night, asked my wife about it, and we didn't know what was happening. So I went to the doctor the next day. He thought it was a clogged salivary duct. And I think he gave me some medication too for it. It was there for probably 2 days and it didn't go away. So I went in for this is going to get emotional.
Oh.
I didn't plan on this.
It's okay.
Went in there for a biopsy. And ironically, the biopsy was on my wife and I's 10-year anniversary of being cancer. And then obviously that word is very scary. And my dad had passed away when I was 17. And it was very hard for me. So I didn't want to have my kids go through the same thing that I went through.
Right.
And I know the pain that my mom went through without her husband. I didn't want to have that happen to my wife. So it was the battle against cancer was very, very emotional. It was much harder than the physical aspect because I'm a boxer and I went through a lot of stuff. So the emotional nervousness, anxiety, fear, tough.
Right. Did you feel then too that people expected certain things of you because you are a boxer to be stoic or like the tough guy? How did you find your support team in that?
That's a good question. My mom and two sisters we were tied after my dad died. And my wife is obviously support, but I've been very fortunate through my boxing career to have a lot of support from friends and family, not necessarily because I was a boxer, but just the community that's built around the boxing world. It was always very supportive. So I got a lot of text messages and a lot of phone calls and social media messages just supporting me. And it wasn't so much, obviously there's nothing that anybody can do to fix the problem or fix cancer. But just the support was tremendously helpful.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Like I had a health issue last year and it's so interesting. It's really interesting. I had a friend who had a serious diagnosis recently. And I said, it's interesting because sometimes the people who end up on your support team are not people who you thought would be on your support team. And then the people who you think would sometimes are not also on your support team. Like I thought that was really interesting.
Right. Very. And that's people, it's interesting. The people, yeah, you're right. Who actually comes out to support you, and not out, but reaches out to support you. Because I had a buddy of mine who I hadn't seen or heard from in 10 years. I went to high school with him, and he reached out. So it's just,
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
It's refreshing to see that people still care.
Yeah, it really is. And that you allow yourself to receive that.
That was a tough one because my wife and I are black and white. We're different. She wanted to keep it private and fight the battle alone. And me, she's an introvert. I'm an extrovert.
Right, right.
I think, well, I got to tell my family. I got to tell my mom and my sisters. And then from there, I just spread a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of it.
Yeah, right, right. Well, I think it's helpful because there was a version of myself, I think, even like maybe like even as recently as like a few years ago, who would have kept like my situation private and then just been utterly devastated that people didn't realize that something serious was going on in my life, even though I was keeping it private. It's so interesting when you bring people in on it. I don't know. What did you think about that? Like having people in on it to help you? Like I had like I had a friend who lived in Australia and it was perfect because I would have insomnia. So when it was like 3 a.m. here, it was like 7 a.m. So we would just have these, for some reason, we would never call each other. We would just leave each other voice memos like back and forth for hours sometimes. But it was so fun. And she was like my researcher. So I didn't go down like the black hole. I also had somebody like who really kept me grounded. I had somebody who sent me meditations every day. Like it was so wonderful to have like different people coming in with different kinds of things, like their own bags of tricks to help you through. What did you find most helpful for you as you were working through your cancer?
I'm a believer in Christ, so it's a lot of prayers was very helpful, and a lot of support. Not necessarily Bible verse, just focus on Him, and He's your priority. And one of the things that was important. Well, going back to how I took on the process was I'm a giver myself, and to receive. But also, I think it was my mom, one of my sisters said, that's if I don't allow somebody else to help me, I'm preventing from the opportunity that I value myself. So I'm cheating them out of the opportunity.
Right. And there has to be like that. If we're only giving and not receiving, we're also like interrupting the flow of giving and receiving.
Right. So that was ultimately the tipping point that let me post it on social media that battle of cancer. And in boxing, we have training camps where you're in a 6-week, 8-week, 3-month training camp. So I took how I took on the battle against cancer was like it's the same as a training camp where it can be long days, short days, days without sleep, days without too much sleep. Life's gonna suck. But at the end of the day, you want to get your hands raised and walk out of the ring with your hands raised, and that's based off of God's blessing that I was able to do that.
That's amazing. I love that. So you had mentioned that during your like you did not have a backup plan, like you could not work. What kind of cancer did you have?
Throat cancer, which is a bit ironic because I've never smoked and I never chewed tobacco.
Oh, amazing. And is that the primary cause like of that? That's so interesting.
Well, I mean, it's apparently it's a HPV cancer. They have a vaccine for it now, but it could have came birth delivery could have come from a wide range of things. But my interpretation it was just God's will for me, and my belief is it's His body, not my body. I'm live the best I can and share my story with.
So you couldn't work and you had to go on short-term disability. So what was it like for you to go from provider to patient? And then how did that affect you emotionally? I do not mean to make you cry again, just FYI. But if it happens, I'm here. I'm holding space for you.
It's tough because my wife is a stay-at-home mom, and it was my job. It was our agreement to rather have somebody else take care of our kids, raise their own kids, and that was a very challenging work. I was bringing home $600 every 2 weeks for a family of 4.
Right.
And then,
Oh gosh.
and then that's one of the reasons why my sisters and my mom put on a fundraiser for me to help make sure I didn't go in medical debt. And
Right.
although my focus was to my own health and trying to beat off the cancer, and you prioritize things. You learn what you need, not what you want.
Well, yeah, because you had said like cancer didn't care what kind of car I drove or how many bedrooms I had. Like, so what do you want people to understand about what actually matters when life shows up like with like the cancer curveball?
What really matters is your faith and your family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell me more.
And relationships. You don't respectfully. You look nice. You look good. You got yourself together. But I care more about your heart.
Mm-hmm.
I more than that. I don't care what kind of car you drive. I don't care how big of a house you have.
Right.
How you're trying to care for other people.
Right. Well, it's so interesting when you have a situation that's really serious. You're like, oh, that car and that house mean nothing. Like at the end of the day, like for what you would gladly trade those to be cancer free or to save someone in your family from ever experiencing that.
Right. And that's one of the things that you mentioned earlier. I put on a knockout cancer boxing fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Give money directly to the recipients. Cancer, we don't give it to research or whatever else, and we give it directly to them. And one of the guys had cancer. He put a new roof on his mobile home.
Amazing, right?
Needed it. There's one of the recipients last year. Unfortunately, her husband passed away prior to the event. Wanted to go to Santa's workshop in Colorado Springs, so they money on taking her and her kids down to Santa's.
Wow, that's amazing. So, what made you decide to start that? What is it called? Knockout Cancer?
Cancer boxing fundraiser.
Okay. So, tell me about like how long have you been doing it? What's it all about?
So we're a 501c3 nonprofit, and my sister did an event for me. It was a bowling. My sister and my mom did a bowling event for me just to help me not go to medical debt. I've been boxing since I was 5 years old, and then I had cancer, so the two just married each other to merge together to have a knockout cancer boxing fundraiser.
Right.
It's just, at the time, it was just a bunch of us old guys boxing, raise money for cancer. I was 47 years old when I fought on my 2-year reunion of my being cancer free, and we just raised money. So it's not. I mean, when I lived it, and with one income, trying to provide for 4 people.
Right.
Again, medical system bills are super expensive. So I give them some reprieve. Like one of the girls this year, a recipient, she's 16 years old, got stage 4 leukemia cancer. It just came back. Her mom wants to get her a bed so she can fight the battle comfortably.
Right. Yeah.
Or
right.
Chemo treatment and the next radiation session you've got. So it's focusing on not having the focus on the battle bills, but more the battle at hand.
Right. Right. Well, and then it's like those are such like humble asks too. I would like to go to Santa's workshop. I would love to have a bed. It must feel so good to know that you're helping people like that.
I'm getting goosebumps right now, but it's I think that's what I'm a believer in Jesus, and I think we're here to love each other and support each other.
Yeah.
I think the world, maybe specifically the United States, is so competitive. So let's go. I want a better car than you. I want more points. I want this and that. I want to lift you up and support you. I want to help you make an extra dollar. I want to help you. So it's just
right.
Lead with love for.
So what are you doing? Are you still boxing? Are you still like a boxing coach, or what do you do?
I would love to continue to compete, but I'm too old. Well, I'm not too old. Just I competed for 27 years, so it's time.
Oh my gosh!
Done, but I coach now, and I coach Pride. I've got a knockout cancer boxing club, and we have kids. We've got young, old, We got a 62-year-old man. We got 2 kids in wheelchairs with cerebral palsy that we train. We've got a 5-year-old kid, a adult, a female. I'll say that. Yes. I'm still in the boxing world. Yes.
That's incredible. So you had said like the boxing community was really like, I can appreciate that it's a really, I was traveling this week and I was on a road trip. So my first night, I always stay in a hotel and they had a UFC fight on it. And it was so like intense that I was like, I much prefer boxing like that as just a sport, but it is really like all on the table. Like it's obviously, if I think about like stand-up comedy as being the most revealing solo art form. And I would think boxing is that same way. Like you have the opponent, it's just your body, your strategy, your feet. I'm assuming there's a lot that goes into that, right? But it's like you're there on your own, mano to mano, right?
So
something like that.
Boxing is often referred to as a sweet science because it's so complex. As soon as you figure out one thing, you got to worry about the other thing. And it's one of the reasons what I like about boxing. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, what race you are. It doesn't matter anything. It's based off of you and only you, of how much effort you put into it and how long you invest in yourself to perfect your craft. So yes, it's very rewarding, but it's also it's challenging.
Oh yeah, like I watch those HBO specials, like when Pacquiao was going to fight Floyd Mayweather, and then they show their training beforehand. Like Floyd Mayweather, he's just a specimen. I cannot believe the things that he does. Like you have to be so. I think one of the things I really appreciate about boxers is they're so agile.
Yeah.
You're so light on your feet, and it's just amazing. So you were a kid, you said you started boxing at 5 years old. How do people know, like you said your dad was a boxer, so you knew about this probably, but how do you know you're a good boxer like when a kid's like 5?
So my dad was not a boxer. He was just
he
a farm guy from Nebraska. And basically he just taught us to try harder, work harder. He made us, me and my other sister Sherry, made us run a half marathon when I was 7 years old. And that's now I think child abuse is now.
That is, wait, because I know Sherry because we used to be we're from the same industry, and she is quite the impressive human being and like a badass executive. Like she's top notch.
I think we attribute that to our dad. He's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be good. We had to be great.
Right. What elements of that do you have with your own kids now?
My dad was pretty hard on us. So I'm nervous to do the same thing.
Right.
And I'm hard on them. They don't have to be the best at the sport, but they're darn sure they better be respectful to others.
Yeah, totally.
They better have proper language and just be respectful human beings. But
right.
As far as athletically, like everybody says your kids should get in boxing. I'm like, but they're not. They don't have to do that. And then
right.
You have to be. You have to be tough and then tough and durable and rugged and have grit to be a boxer and not disrespecting today's community, but there's not a lot of grit out there anymore.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Everybody wants to, well, forgive me for being so general, but like everybody wants to be coddled. Like we have to work for things. Like when I had cancer, you have to fight back. You have to rest. You have to do
right.
Radiation. You have to show up to work to the best of your ability. I'm sure you didn't get to the level that you're at by not working.
Yeah.
The extra hours to so I think they don't have the grit that they used to.
Right. Yeah, like I grew up, so your dad is, I think, pretty Midwestern. Like my parents were also from the Midwest, where they're like, you're lucky anyone even pays you to do a job. Like, and that you are just drilled into your brain, be there 15 minutes before your boss, leave 15 minutes after. And I think I love to hire people and work with people from the Midwest because they do have that roll up your sleeves mentality too. But like, I remember I quit my job to look for a job, and my parents, I said, I just wasn't happy. And my parents were like, happy? What does that have to do with?
Right.
If it was supposed to make you happy, it wouldn't be called work. And I'm like, oh, that is definitely a difference, like between our generations. So I can relate to that. So Shane, if people want to learn more about your organization, or if they want to become like one of your boxing clients, how can they get in touch with you? Where can they connect with you?
Can I say my phone number? Is that possible?
I think I would. Do you have a website or an email address?
My email address is my Shane, SHANE, D as in David, Swartz, SWARTZ @gmail.
Alrighty.
Website is Knockout Cancer Boxing Club.
Nice.
Do.
And then, are you on any of the socials?
I've got my Instagram is Knockout Cancer Boxing Club.
Awesome.
And
alrighty, we'll include those in the show notes.
Thank you.
Shane, I just want to thank you so much for the work that you're doing. And it's one of the things about Curveball that I just think is so amazing is that, and the streak continues, that people are thrown this curveball and they decide to make meaning out of it. And even though you were dealt this blow, it's like there's this beautiful organization that comes from it, and families who you're helping, and getting those kids like a Bedford to have leukemia treatment is really amazing. So it just makes me feel so good about humanity, about God, about just the world, people in general. Because I think there are more people like you in this world than not.
There are still good people, yes.
Yes, there are still some really amazing
people. Although it's not our first inkling, it's what we should all do is give back to others and just care. Even if it's like giving people grace when they yell at you at the stoplight. I mean, maybe they're on the way to go take their daughter to the cancer treatment.
Oh my God. I will tell you, one of my brothers died, and my sister and I were driving to his funeral, and her gas gauge was broken on her car. So she would go by miles, but then her odometer broke too. So we were really then just really winging it. So we didn't know. And we started to run out. We were literally starting to run out of gas on the way to his funeral. So we were doing all sorts of extreme things to avoid running out of gas, and just even trying to get to this place where there was a gas station. And I just thought, if I'm ever in traffic and somebody is driving erratically, maybe they're driving to their brother's funeral and they are running out of gas and they're freaking out because of it. Like, you really you don't know anything about anyone, about anything, like legit.
I think having that mindset, just having mercy and grace with other people, you don't know.
Yeah. You just don't know. Oh, it was such a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much. I love this.
Thank you.